Hello everyone, what's up? Leviathan you here on Tuesday, July 23rd. What's up everyone? We have the honor of having Term Labs on again. Billy and Dion are with us.
Hey everyone, GM.
Apologize.
Thanks for having us on ETH ETF Day.
Oh yes. Thank you guys for coming. I already wanted to have you guys on last week, but we weren't able to work it out. But I think today will be maybe even better. What's up, guys? How have you been?
Yeah, things have been good. Things have been good with us. It's been, a busy summer with term and the markets. A little bit quiet, but I think now ETF is reigning. We'll see pretty big activity pickup across DeFi and everything going on within the TradFi world.
I agree. I think it's a very special and big day, to be honest, with the ETTFs and stuff going on. What are some of your thoughts on how big of a moment is this for us as an industry?
Well, for
I mean,
me,
I think it's actually, or go ahead, Billy.
I was just gonna say it's just like a really great milestone for anyone that's been in the space for a long time and just seeing, all the trials and tribulation to now see, assets like Bitcoin and ETH be broadly accepted across the mainstream. And I don't see this slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely echo, Billy's sentiment there. My view of crypto has always been, it's people ask like, how do you create money out of thin air? And I think about money is really the ability to exchange it for something. It's liquidity. And over time, as DAXs and SEXs come online, each way we're getting more and more liquidity for Bitcoin and ETH. And this is kind of that final step. Once it gets into TradFi, it gets listed on an ETF. The amount of liquidity that you're getting from these TradFi players, is exponentially greater than what you had before, and that just makes ETH and Bitcoin just that much more of, kind of traction in terms of being, in some sense, kind of like money. So yeah, this is huge. I think more so than the potential token pump in the price from the inflows will be the extra liquidity that's being added for ETH assets. So this is huge.
Yeah, and the ability for these hard assets to serve as, high forms of collateral across, not only the DeFi space, but across traditional finance, I think is ever more exciting. Helping people unlock value within things that are by their nature, not inflationary. I think is something that's been, for me, one of the reasons to get into crypto and to see, what's happening with U.S. government and the amount they're going to have to finance just interest payments. Having alternatives for people to be able to lock in and store value is incredible, and to see it happen across the Ethereum ecosystem, which has the other benefit of having the ability to have a vast network of builders, is just, to me, just a wonderful day to celebrate.
I agree with you guys. I actually think this. I don't think we can even comprehend how big of a day this is for like the smart contract industry, the tokenization industry, however you wanna call it. In my opinion, it's actually in the long run, it will prove itself, in my opinion, to be a bigger day than the ETF, the BTC ETFs. I think for me personally, when I look at BTC, I see it more as a proof of concept in a way, because everything that can actually be done in crypto, at least the way I see it, is actually done by ETH. I'm going to share this post that I've seen yesterday that actually by Omid Malekan. Maybe you've seen it. It describes ETH as a high quality liquid asset. Maybe you've seen it.
No, but I share their sentiment.
I will just show it for people to be able to watch it. And I think that it serves as a good example of like something you touched on, I think there, Billy, with the importance of, you know, of having a lot of liquidity. on an asset, on an actual large scale, like not like the scale we're used to, like, within the DeFi industry or whatever, but like to have actual deep liquidity is kind of crucial for something to be used to define something's moneyness, or however you put it.
Like,
And of course to have it be used as collateral. I'll try to show it on screen for now. Do you like, how are you guys saying, like, what amount of money pouring into the system will like, are you guys foreseeing? Not financial advice, of course, and none of us has any idea on what's actually going to happen, like, but I don't know, in the next few months or even like up to a year, how big, how many inflows do you guys imagine that we're going to see just by having these new players now allowed to play?
One of the stats that really got me excited was you have these professional consultants that are advising, large pools of capital, like pensions and endowments, and their target allocation for crypto is, a few percent. And if you look at the pool of capital that these professional asset managers are managing, if you take a few percentage points of their capital, it's an ungodly amount of money. Much greater than we've seen in the Bitcoin flows, at the onset of the ETF. So I think over time it's going to be, unfathomable. And if you just look at the flows in the market today, it's a drop in the bucket of what these pensions, these endowments, these traditional asset managers can move. And if they're following these consultants, advice of putting a few percentage points, essentially within their inflation hedge and kind of their gold allocation, it's going to be monstrous.
yeah, I mean, if you look at the total global investable assets, it's currently at around $241 trillion. So this is money invested in stocks and bonds at banks.
Can you say that again, Dion? What was the stat that you've just shared?
This is total investable assets globally.
Total investable assets. I don't think I ever heard the term. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it sums up all money invested in stocks and bonds, various like liquid securities is 241 trillion.
Wow.
So if you imagine that, people over time allocate even just, 2 to 5% in crypto, that number is staggering, right? There's not enough Bitcoin.
We're like under 1% currently, like as an industry, maybe from that, like maybe under 0.5% even, no?
Exactly. So imagine that went up to like 2 or 3%. We're talking about 5-6 from here. And that's assuming that money supply doesn't increase, governments don't print more money, which they always do. So yeah, I think that's a good ballpark figures to see what percentage of the global portfolio will ultimately be invested in crypto.
And that's not even taking into account, the transfer of other assets and tokenizing them and bringing them on chain, and what that unlocks as well, outside of just natively digital assets like Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and the rest. So it's an exciting time. It's going to be an exciting decade, I would imagine.
I agree. Let's move to talk about the exciting decade, hopefully coming to Term Labs.
Thanks. We're in it for the long term, hence the name. And I think it's been a wonderful time. We're almost up to a year on mainnet. So we launched last year in August. Since going live, we found a great kind of quasi niche with large institutions in Wales who see the benefits of locking in fixed rates. Cleared in excess, well in excess of 100 million through the weekly auctions that Term hosts. And the rates that borrowers are paying and the rates that lenders are receiving tend to lie in that midpoint of Aave and Compound. So the amount of interest that borrowers are saving by participating on Term, and lenders are earning more. So it's a win-win for both sides of the market. I think borrowers have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars less in interest by using Term, and lenders have received hundreds of thousands of dollars more through the auctions. We recently closed a round led by Electric Capital, and have started to see that news, and some other incentive programs that Dion will get into, bring on other high value users, like from ETH and stablecoin funds, DeFi hedge funds, large treasuries starting to get more active. And longer term, we see the tokenization movement even bringing kind of collateral mobility and unlocking tokenized assets onto term. So yeah, the future is bright for what we're building, and now just looking to take advantage of the market that we see in front of us with the ETF coming online, similar to what we saw with the BTC ETF coming, and all the demand that drove from users to want to lock in borrow costs across stables and ETH, as the market gets hot again. So yeah, I mean, I'll let Dion talk more about some of the things that we've got in the pipeline, but yeah, it's an exciting time for term, and excited to get the word out there to your guys' audience.
That's actually really exciting, and I even want us to maybe get back to some of the basics for some of the viewers that maybe haven't seen the previous episodes with you guys. First of all, I didn't even know that the term labs was because of the long term. I didn't even get that. But it's actually quite good.
Yeah, we do fixed rate, fixed term loans on chain through auctions. Every week within term, borrowers and lenders meet. So, putting up collateral like wrap ETC, LSTs, LRTs, even tokenized RWAs. Borrowers and lenders meet. So lenders will put together stable coins.
What do you mean exactly that borrowers and lenders meet?
Yeah,
And maybe
way
even
more eloquent than I am and more concise. So maybe I'll let Dion jump in.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't really care. What I'm going for is for someone who has no idea what term labs is and is hearing it for the first time. How should one think of it?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to understand it is that Term is a platform where we match borrowers and lenders through weekly auctions. These auctions are a way for us to match orders of borrow and demand supply for crypto loans using crypto assets as collateral. So you can think of it as very similar to Aave. The only difference is that we enable fixed rates for a fixed amount of time. In TradFi, fixed income is the largest market globally. It's larger than stocks. It's larger than any other financial asset class.
And this is probably because of the safety feeling that comes with it. I can imagine, or
predictability. Yeah, it's the predictability and stability of returns. If you think about typical DeFi lending protocols, DeFi moves fast. This time last year, rates were 3.5% on Aave. Now they're 8 or 9. We got as high as 16 or 17 just a few months ago. So rates move quite rapidly for sustained amounts of times. So it's very difficult for people to budget, make forecasts, plan their finances when rates are kind of moving all over the place. Having the ability to earn or borrow at a fixed rates gives people the ability to kind of budget and plan for longer periods of time without having to worry about these day-to-day or week-over-week fluctuations. So that's what we're trying to do. We think this market could be huge if we just take TradFi markets as a proxy, and that's what got us excited to build this protocol. And now with our new points program, we really want to use this as a way to track user and community contributions as we build out towards this vision of DeFi fixed rates, and be able to reward these users who come to the platform for the contributions that they make. Because that's like a general intro to the points program. Happy to kind of take this wherever you want to take it.
For sure. So Term Labs is currently at pre-token. It doesn't have a token yet.
That's correct. Pre-token at this point.
Cool. And this new point system, it's starting now, basically soon, like and like
Yeah,
what does one to do to participate?
yeah, great questions. This program started a couple weeks ago, so it started earlier this month. What we've seen as DeFi users ourselves, we do not like the way these points programs have dragged out, gone on for months, for years. So that's not the plan with our points program. We like it to be relatively short and give people an opportunity to see the rewards earlier than later. In terms of how to contribute to the protocol, really, we look at it in terms of three categories. As we mentioned before, the primary mechanism that we use to determine an interest rate is through a weekly auction process. The auction is very simple as a user. All you need to do is go in. If you're a lender, you submit the amount you want to lend and the minimum interest rate that you're willing to accept. Typically, users will compare against Aave or Morpho or alternative variable rate lending protocols to set that rate. And that's it. Once you submit your levels, you wait for the auction to close, and you'll find out whether or not you were successful. On the borrow side, it's a similar process. Put in the amount that you want to borrow, submit the rate that you're willing to pay, again, referencing Aave or whatever your favorite variable rate lending protocol may be, and then wait for the auction to close. The submission of these levels is crucial to our ability to determine a market clearing rate that's fair and efficient. So we are offering points to users who come and help with this price discovery process. And so that's one major category of points there. Really looking to incentivize users who are putting in competitive prices. So if you say you want to lend at 100% return, it's not as helpful as saying you're willing to lend at something closer to market. So we will do multipliers and adjustments based on how close the interest rate you submit ends up being to the ultimate rate that clears in the auction. So I call that the general auction points category. Come, participate, help with the price discovery process. You guys control the interest rate. It's not controlled by some centralized entity. The second category of points I would mention are lending points. So what happens is if you are successful in making a loan through term, you'll receive an ERC20 receipt token. We call that a repo token. And we track your holding block by block. So for each block that you're holding on to the token, you're earning points. And as long as you're holding on to that receipt token, you will continue to accrue points during the life of the loan. I think something that's really interesting that we introduced to this point program is really trying to target users who are active with on-chain borrowing and lending. So if you've been active on Aave, Spark, Compound, Morpho, and you sign up for our points program, you might be eligible to receive extra bonuses for participating in a few auctions and be able to get extra rewards for being an active user. So that's one fun part about the onboarding process as you connect your wallet. Quick little analyzer will go through your historical activity on the competing variable rate lending protocols and give you kind of a DeFi power user score. And based on that, unlock additional bonuses through just signing up. So definitely come and check that out. And last category, invites. Invite your friends if you like the platform. Tell your friends about it, and earn points based on the activity that they bring and contribute to the protocol.
So you mean like also with a reflink aspect of things? Yes.
Like yeah, absolutely.
That's actually cool. That's actually cool. And currently, you guys are saying that the system is only invite link based, or am I?
That's correct. It's invite only, but join our Discord. You can find the official link on our Twitter at term_labs. You'll see a link tree there, and you can enter our Discord. There are invite codes available through the channels.
That's
Yeah, I
great.
think another cool program that we implemented within the points program is if you've been active on any of the other major lending protocols like Aave, Morvo, Spark, Compound, we've been offering migration bonuses based on wallet activity. So, if you've tried out, other major lending protocols and come onto Term, we're offering bonuses for those users after you try the protocol, a few times. So a nice way to, you don't have to move any positions over. It's really just coming and trying Term and see if it's something that suits your individual needs. But yeah, if you've been active on other protocols, other lending protocols, it's worth jumping in and seeing if seeing what that bonus might be for trying Term auctions ads.
Nice. What What's your strategy like on, and maybe this relates a bit to where we started the conversation with the ETFs. Like, what's your strategy in the long run? Like, where do you see most of the capital entering Term Labs coming from? Is it from the retail sector or is it from the institutional sector? And like, uh, uh, and accordingly, how are you guys like building your own like business and marketing and like deciding about your efforts on how to approach drawing that capital in?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think the cleanest way to kind of try to answer this question is look at leading variable rate lending protocol like Aave. If you look live into the dashboard, you'll see the top 1% of users on Aave account for about 50% of TVL, and Compound is no different. So you will see, heavy skew towards larger institutional and high net worth types of users. But on the other hand, the smaller users in the aggregate also, account for a non-negligible material, user base on Aave and Compound as well. So we think Term, being a collateralized fixed rate lending protocol, will have a similar kind of user distribution that you see on the other protocols, heavily skewed on the institutional and high net worth side, but also a significant and material, you know, usage coming from smaller accounts. So it's not solely meant for institutions only. And I think our, you know, roadmap is going to reflect this type of distribution. Obviously, the institutions and high net worth being a very important kind of user base, but also creating products and messaging and education to educate people with smaller accounts on how kind of over collateralized, slightly lower risk, uh, lending and yield can be a useful part of their overall portfolios. So I hope that answers your question, but
Yeah, sure. But I also want to know about like how do you guys like approached it? I don't know, more actively in a way. Like, what kind of an effort or what kind of efforts can a team do in order to attract some? Because I imagine that a lot of this stuff, or pretty much all of it, is happening backstage. You know what I mean? Like, how do you actually come about and to draw like big institutional investors? And because especially now, I think with the ETH ETFs coming, I think it's a huge catalyst, but still it's not exactly like the side of crypto that we're used to seeing as, okay, I saw this on Twitter, it seems like an interesting dApp, I will go into the Discord and then I will decide if I put my $100 there. With institutional players, I'm sure the whole process is kind of different. And when I see, when I talk to a lot of a lot of the teams we talk to and their products, it's always something that I'm very curious about. Like, okay, how does the team, how is the team actually able to withdraw the meaningful amounts of capital? Because I don't think it's that most of us, on the retail side of things, just yeah, saw it, nice one, I'm gonna try it. I think it's probably a bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with any go-to-market effort, you really have to focus on the bottom of the funnel. These are people who are crypto native. Just looking again at Aves and compounds of the world, you see there are probably 500 to 1,000 wallets that are already deploying tens of billions of TVL onto collateralized conservative on-chain lending.
Yeah. And they probably belong to like 100 people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like a few hundred. Yeah, you can find all their addresses if you do a little work. And so, I think that's what you go for first. There are already people who understand how to use Ethereum, how blockchains work, how to use MetaMask, and there's already large enough a market there to build a very good business. And once you establish, yourself amongst the on-chain native users, then you can worry about these institutional players as they come and enter into DeFi. So that's sort of the strategy we're taking on now. Let's solve problems for existing on-chain borrowers and lenders, and over time, as the market comes in, we'll be there to kind of catch that wave.
Nice, nice. I remember that you guys told me before the show that there was also something, and I think maybe even Billy mentioned it earlier, that something about fundraising. Some fundraising you guys do?
Yeah, we recently raised or closed a round led by Electric Capital and other great funds like Inception, Arite, led by Crypto McKenna, Delta Blockchain, and many others that were excited. And a number of really one of the actually really great things about some of the round two is that we had some early users that actually reached out to us and were just so excited about the product and liked the product so much that they wanted to get more active and involved from an angel perspective too. So that helps drive that we really are on to something major. What we are doing at Term is unique. Running these fixed rate auctions is no one is really doing this at any kind of major significance. And so we are kind of setting and creating a new category. And to see some of our early users, feel, such good feelings about what we're attempting to do and wanting to come and be a part of that with us is really incredible. Getting the support from large funds is also, a meaningful part of helping to, build out the market base through, strategic advisory and connections that they can provide. But to see your users, want to be a part of something over the long term is to me just one of the more gratifying things about the raise process. So within the raise, we raised slightly over $5.5 million, and that allows us to really work towards getting those BD efforts up, expand marketing development, but also gives the team a significant amount of runway to continue to build through cycles. So yeah, it's a wonderful milestone, but the real milestones that we're hunting after are multi-billions, tens of billions of TVL, as we continue to build out this ecosystem.
So it was with it. That's crazy, actually. That's it sounds big. What was the valuation, by the way, if I may ask?
I'll transition that to Dion, our CEO, to see if he wants to share more details there. Oh, you're muted, my man.
I think we'll probably leave that for maybe a later conversation. For this conversation, really just want to highlight the level of conviction that we've received from existing supporters, angels, old and new, and continue to push this for the long term. And I think for us, we're really here to build through multiple cycles. This isn't a project that necessarily takes off in a single one, but is built to last over the long run. So, really excited about that. And, obviously really excited about getting people who come and help us bootstrap this protocol early on to be recognized and, rewarded for their contributions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we'll have some other, fun and exciting announcements to bring to your guys' audience and to others within, our ecosystem in the not too distant future. So hopefully that'll give us a catalyst to dig into some of these finer points, DeFi Advisor.
Whenever, guys, whenever you want, and there's any updates, we like to have you on and share it with everyone. Definitely fun to have decent teams trying to build actual products that actually provide quality financial services and bringing on TradFi concepts on chain. I think it's a very important job. It's one of the things that makes me most fascinated about the space. And for sure. Anything else you guys want to touch on that we haven't mentioned?
No, just I think really want to encourage users to come check out these auctions if you're interested in participating on term.
Cool. So where should they go, Dion? Like, what's the best place to start?
Yeah, go to app.term.finance. You'll see a list of auctions that are live this week. Last week, popular auction was lending USDC against Athena's SUSDE token as collateral. That auction cleared at 9.5% real yield. And so that is also a 3-month term. So that might be an interesting auction if you want to lend and earn some decent yields on an over-collateralized basis, meaning that you will be protected against some level of depeg risk given the over-collateralization of the collateral. USDC versus Bitcoin has also been a very popular auction that cleared last week. 7.5% rates have gone up, but in both cases, you're earning significantly more as a lender than you would be on the competing variable rate protocols. So come check out these auctions, see if any of these interest you, and get started on earning term points.
Yeah, and if you need an invite code, for the rewards program or the points program, jump into the Discord. There's a channel with invite links from the community. And so that's a great way to get access and start earning the points as well as the real yield.
Great, actually, for sure. So for anyone interested, check out Term Labs on their Discord. If you want, I saw you guys as a link tree on X as well. So I'm sure that all the relevant links are also there. And guys, thanks a lot for coming. Really appreciate it. Fun talking with you guys. Wish you a lot of luck with now after the fundraise and the new points system. We'll definitely be interested in having one of these links up for Leviathan news and maybe for myself as well, to be honest.
Awesome.
And of course, whenever you have any other updates that you want to share, we'll be honored to have you guys again. Feel free to reach out. And again, everyone, check out Term Labs. Also, you can follow Billy and Dion themselves. You can find them on X. And thank you for tuning in at Leviathan News. Check out our TG as well. Check out our new newsletter by Sam, The Tentacle, on Substack. He does an amazing job, in my opinion. Been writing about a lot of interesting stuff, very in his usual, very deep of a way. And get involved. Try earning some squid by submitting headlines and offering guests and whatever. So, guys, thanks again for coming, and a lot of luck, and talk to you soon, hopefully.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
See
Bye,
you.
folks.